Alright, welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies, where this will be the finale in terms of this form of video. Now for the past 4 videos, I've played through a chapter of Plants vs. Zombies in each. 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 4, obviously. And this is the final chapter in the game. But before I get into any other topics in this video, I want to mention something that's recently relevant, which is the fact that I watched Markiplier's movie, the Iron Lung one, over the weekend, which should give you a sign of when this was recorded. And it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen in my life, but it was cool to see Markiplier on the big screen, and his performance was... it was alright. Sometimes I could feel that like he wasn't really an actor, but like most of the times I felt like he was pretty good, you know? Like he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't like, wow, Markiplier should have just been an actor instead of a YouTuber. Like, no, I think he chose the right way. But it was enjoyable. I was really confused because I've never watched him play Iron Lung, and I've never played the game myself, which I'm thinking of just playing myself at some point, not like as a video. I think I'm just gonna play it just to enjoy the game. But it was good, and like I enjoyed the video effects. The sound effects, the mixing, the sound was kind of wonky at times. It was a bit There was times where like there was something going on the speaker, which is like a big thing of the movie, you know, and I couldn't hear a thing because everything else was like going on. And I don't think that was supposed to be intentional. But regardless, it was pretty solid for a movie, especially for a YouTuber movie and a game movie as well. Like, I think it seemed to be faithful to the original game from what I hear. Like, besides the fact that it didn't really explain much about the game, it was sort of faithful, and it was cool. Like, it really gave that feeling of, I don't know, being alone down there. Like, it did translate that psychological horror part of the game that I assume it had, of like being alone in an ocean of blood and like no one being able to help you, and like you just have to like try your best to survive. Like that felt like it translated really well into the movie. Like it didn't make me feel scared, but it made me feel worried, like, hey, I'm not gonna make it out and no one can help me, you know? Like it was cool. It was really cool to see that translated into the big screen. I'm saying that like I've played the game. Again, I haven't, but the game looks cool. Now that I've seen the movie, I'm like, hey, I kind of want to play the game. So I think the movie's done its job pretty well. Anyways, here's my great segue into something else to talk about, aka I can't segue, and this is the best you're getting. I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought there was a night version of the rooftop. I thought there was 6 levels with day rooftop and night rooftop. Along with my belief of there being a nighttime rooftop level, I thought the way it worked was in the daytime, Mr. Zomboid, I don't think that's his name, you know, the big boss of Plants vs. Zombies, I thought like he like semi-attacks you, and it's like the feet level, right? That sounds crazy, but it's the level with the boots. You'll see it later in the video if you've never played Plants vs. Zombies by some miraculous chance. But there's like the feet level where he's not really attacking you and he's just like stomping stuff and like kicking stuff. And then the night level would be the final one where like his head comes down and he like shoots the snowballs and the fireballs and all this stuff. I was completely wrong about that, mainly because I don't think I've ever actually beaten this game. I've played this game, I've seen the final boss, but I don't think I've ever played the final boss myself, because the only other time I've played this game was when I was a child, and I was absolutely terrible at anything strategy. I mean, I still am. I'm not like a great strategist. I'm not like some next level Napoleon talent in terms of strategy, but my brain has developed enough to the point where I can beat Plants vs. Zombies, a game essentially made for children. But back in the day, you know, I never beat it, so I had some misconceptions, I guess, and I fully believed as well that there was 2 separate boss stages, but there wasn't. And honestly, I'm starting to think maybe they should have separated it. When I played through the boss fight, it felt like really long. Like it was like 10 minutes of just straight gameplay, which is, to be fair, around the same length as a regular level. So maybe like I was just misconstrued in how long a boss fight should be. Because if you think about it, some of the other levels are quite long as well. So I guess it just makes sense that the boss fight had to be that long, and it wouldn't have made sense to split it up into like 2 separate 5 to 7 minute fights, and instead just bundle it all together in one big fight. Anyways, that's enough of like me spoiling the entire video. Like at this point, you don't even have to watch the rest of it, which is true, but I mean, you can sit here and watch my glorious strategizing for Plants vs. Zombies. I think I ran the same strat for essentially this entire video. As soon as I got the corn launcher or whatever, or the butter one, they're both butter and corn, I just started placing 1 row of cabbage, 1 row of sunflowers that would eventually become twin sunflowers, and then I would just spam the butter because the butter is nice. Like, I like the RNG aspect of the butter thing, and having more means you have a better chance of hitting the butter, which is cool. And then I unlocked the melon launcher, which is like so good. So like, I think what I did was I would just replace cabbages with melon launchers. This gameplay is quite old. I think I played this like almost a month ago at this point. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but it has been a while. And one half of the gameplay is like 3 weeks old, I think. And then the other half's like a week and a half old. That's another exaggeration. It's like pretty separate though. I finished like half of it and then I went on to do the second half later. I got busy in between playing the game, so there was a big gap. I mean, it's not like it really affected my gameplay. It's not hard to repick up Plants vs. Zombies. I mean, I haven't played this game in quite literally like 10 years, I think. And I was still pretty decent at it. I mean, it's a pretty easy game to really grasp. Speaking of easy games to grasp, I would say Destiny 2, and Destiny the franchise in general, is not one of them. I think I've managed to bring up Destiny in almost every single one of these Plants vs. Zombies videos. And honestly, it's not on purpose. I just somehow always segue to Destiny. I mean, I've played quite a bit of it. I think it's my most played game of all time. I don't think I will ever play it on this channel, to be honest with you, unless Destiny came out with some like crazy DLC where I looked at it and I said like, I have to play this. I guess I would cover the campaign and the DLC in general, which is cool. Honestly, the way I play Destiny campaigns and Destiny DLCs that I really enjoy, like for example, the Witch Queen DLC that came out nearly 4 years ago now, was amazing. And I played like so much of it. I played I think 10 hours straight of that campaign. I had almost got it finished because I'm like not great at the game. Even though I play it a lot, like my skill level isn't super high. And I was playing the legendary version of the campaign and I just kept getting cooked in some of the fights. And I was just also like really ill prepared because I think before Witch Queen was Beyond Light and that big gap of just like low-key garbage content, at least in my opinion. So I wasn't really playing the game. So I had like no gear whatsoever. I think I tried to hop on a little bit before Witch Queen to try to prepare, which is what I do for like every DLC that I've been absent for. So like when Final Shape came out, I mostly skipped Lightfall because I played Lightfall. I was like, wow, this sucks. And then I moved on and just stopped playing Destiny for a bit. Then I came back a little bit before Final Shape, got myself situated and enjoyed Final Shape with like decent gear going into it. Anyways, back to the Witch Queen DLC. I played it for like 10 hours straight or something crazy like that. I took like, obviously a eating break. I'm not insane. And then I had to stop at some point because I had to go to school the next day and I was very sad. Speaking of school, I remember for Lightfall specifically, I think the worst part about Lightfall was I sat in my room like really like thinking about it, weighing my options of whether or not I should just skip school that day and just play Destiny because it was a new DLC and they like knocked it out of the park with the Witch Queen and I enjoyed it so much and like the raid was amazing. I played it like 50 times within the 3 weeks. I was ecstatic, you know? So Lightfall, you know, they've been building up to it and a little bit before they're like, oh, well, Lightfall isn't what you're going to expect. It's not the same. We had to divide it. So now it's going to be Lightfall for now and then we'll release Final Shape later. And that will basically be what Lightfall, the complete version, was supposed to be. And I was like, okay, you know, that's a bit disappointing. I was kind of expecting this to be the big, huge magnum opus DLC, but this can still be like a solid entry, like a solid segue, a solid cliffhanger into what Final Shape will be. So I was very excited and I saw, you know, new subclass, Strand, whatever. Wow. I'm so excited for a new subclass. I never change my subclass unless it's Prismatic, which I basically use the same subclass anyways in Prismatic. Anyways, so Lightfall's coming out. I have it pre-ordered and everything. I'm like, I'm ready to play this game. And I'm thinking like, hey, you know, I could go to class. I could be like a good student and just keep going to school, be scholarly. Or I could just like not go to school today. Like I could just stay home, not go to school and play this. It's like, it's one day, right? Like I'll go the next day. It's cool. And I'm sat there like really like back and forth. Like, should I do this? Should I not? Is this the right thing to do? Am I really going to do this? Like, I don't know. I've just never skipped school to play a game before, to be honest. Games are cool, but like I got to go to school either way. So it's like, I'll just go to school. I'll think about the game all day and then I'll get home and it'll feel like much better to play the game than like feeling that guilt of like, wow, I really just skipped my like only responsibility in life to play a game I like. So I ended up skipping school and I was just like, all right, let's play this. I was there when the servers opened. I was like, let's go. I'm ready. Let's do this. And it was terrible. It sucked. Like, it wasn't like super bad. Initially, I was playing it and I was like enjoying it. But like as it went on, I was just bored. And that wasn't the case for Witch Queen, you know? The campaign really engaged me. The difficulty was there. The writing was pretty solid. I was like really curious about like the characters and like Savathun and these developments going on. But Lightfall, it just didn't feel good. Like I was just playing it to play through a campaign, hoping that the content after the campaign was what was really good and what I was waiting for. So I think I played through it. I finished it. Like the campaign was whatever, you know, you beat Callus, or like it's like the real Callus. It's some weird boss fight. Honestly, not the biggest fan of that boss fight. Just really weird. Anyways, I finished it and like I'm like, okay, time to prepare for the raid because day one's coming up this Saturday or whatever it was. I think it was that same week it dropped, or maybe it was a week later. Either way, I'm like, okay, let's get raid ready. I'm probably gonna do the day one. But at the time, I didn't really have a team to do the day one raid with. So I was thinking like, hey, who do I do this with? I'm looking at some of my Destiny friends. I'm like, yo, do you have a raid team? And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it with my clan, or I'm gonna do it with these people. And I'm like, damn, I really have nobody to day one with. And I'm starting to contemplate like, hey, should I just go into LFG day of the raid and go, let's day one with some randoms? Which is not like crazy. I've done it before. I'd done it the previous DLC, Witch Queen, because I went in with my actual team and we gave up, or they gave up really after like 11-ish hours. And it was like, okay, fair enough. We've been at it for quite a while. Then I just hopped in with a random like LFG team, somehow cleared the encounter that my team was stuck on. I mean, my team isn't like super high skilled individuals. I mean, I'm in the team for one, and I'm not great at the game, but we cleared the encounter. That encounter being Caretaker, so that goes to show, like, we were stuck on Caretaker for like 7 hours, I swear. And then the third encounter came about, and like, I understood it, but like, we just couldn't get it done because people died too often. And proudly, I will say, like, I was one of the people who was really not dying that often on that encounter, but it was just too hard in terms of like difficulty. Like, we all understood what we were supposed to do, we just couldn't execute it because we kept dying. So that's where I ended off on Vow of the Disciple. It did keep going into the next 24 hours, but I don't even think I touched it. I was just like, hey, I lost, you know, like the raid defeated me. I'll take my loss and I'll just keep playing the normal game. Obviously, the day of contest mode, like fully going away, I played the raid, cleared it. It was nice. It was a great raid. I enjoyed every second of it. And speaking of this raid, I'm going off on a tangent about this raid because I love this raid. I remember at some point I got so good at this raid, I would run it with this team that we would like do it under 40 minutes, and if we did it anything above 40 minutes, we were like, wow, that was a slow run. So we would go like 40-minute completions every time, and eventually we were just like, hey, let's go for a flawless run. And so I'm like, hell yeah, dude, I like almost never die on this raid, which was true. Like, I never really die on Vow of the Disciple. It's not an easy raid, but if you know what you're doing, like, you should be okay. So we run through the raid as normal. I mean, the scariest part for me is the parkour. I'm like, please do not fall. Like, that's the only place I die consistently at. Just do not fall, be careful, and we should be good. So I do all that. I go through the parkour place, and it's like, I don't die. And I'm like, okay, from here on out, I'm good. Because, like, there's no way I die on third encounter. And if I die on fourth encounter, like, skill issue, which is the boss fight. So we get to the boss. I still haven't died. No one else has died. And I'm like, yes, we're going to do this. I'm going to get a flawless run on Vow of the Disciple. And so the way the boss works is you do the encounter at the bottom. You go up to the boss arena, and the boss will, like, teleport around the arena, or, like, move around the arena, attacking you, and he moves quite a bit. And the damage strategy at the time for this boss was to use a weapon called Izanagi's Burden, a sniper which you can like charge, shoot it at him with a full charge shot, recharge the shot, and before the weapon's like fully reloaded, it's still kind of like an animation, you pull out your rocket and you shoot the 2 rockets. It was like some stasis, like legendary, really basic rocket at the time, but it had good enough perks that it was just like, this is the one you want to use. And you would switch your rocket, you would shoot your rocket, you would switch back to Izanagi's because the rocket had auto-loading holster, so in the background while you were shooting your Izanagi's Burden, it would reload the rocket and you could repeat the cycle. And that was the strategy. I mean, it was really simple, it was effective, but you just had to be careful, especially on this boss fight when everyone's moving around because they're trying to avoid the boss. And for the first time in like God knows how long, I don't even remember the last time I died like this, I shot a rocket and I failed to see my teammate in front of me, and I died. And I was the first death, and we were probably like 3 minutes away from completion. Like, I just sat there and watched my dead body, and I just like thought, like, how did I die? Like, how could I have possibly died in the stupidest way? on this raid. Like, the stupidest way to die is to accidentally kill yourself with your rockets. They have like, it's a tracking module. All you have to do is get clear, aim it at him, and it'll like try to track towards him. You just have to be careful. That's it. Just be a bit careful. And I thought I had it cleared, and I don't know what I didn't see, or like if the dude landed in front of me right as I shot it. I don't know what happened. I just knew I died. And like, I apologized. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, that's totally my bad. I don't know. I guess I just didn't clear the rocket. And from then on, like, I don't think I ever tried flawless again. I was just like, you know what? I'm retiring from this raid. Like, that's my sign. I'm done. I think the last time I ever played that raid, I sat in a lobby with people who didn't know how to do the raid, and I taught them to the best of my ability for like 10 hours straight. And it was really fun, actually. Like, it is kind of annoying sometimes to teach someone the raid mechanics, but like that raid I enjoyed so much that I was just like, I don't really mind. I was tired, but like, I sat through it, I enjoyed it, and I was just like, hey, I just taught some people how to do like my favorite raid on this game. Anyways, back to what I was talking about before. I think I was talking about Lightfall and getting raid ready. So I didn't have a team, and I was just thinking like, maybe I'll just skip day one, I'll watch the raid race, and then I'll play it like when contest mode is off. So I think that's what I end up doing. I kind of forget about Destiny. I'm just like, DLC's kind of mid. I'll wait for the raid, see if the raid's any good. But I hadn't really like properly prepped. So I was like, okay, I'll prep a little bit before the raid, and then I'll do the raid. And then like, I just didn't feel like playing the game, so I didn't prep at all. And I was just like, okay, well, I can't do the raid now. And then I heard about the raid on like Twitter and like Twitch and like the streams, and everyone was like, dude, this raid day one is so easy. But that wasn't all they were saying. It was like, okay, easy, cool, I can get a completion maybe. They were all just like, this raid sucks. Like, this raid is so underwhelming. And specifically the boss fight, which is supposed to be like the big reveal, like, hey, this is the boss fight, this is gonna be so cool. It was like, everyone was like talking about it like it was a step back from Vow. It was like, we think this should have happened before Vow of the Disciple, because this boss fight felt like it had no impact on anything in the game. And I was just like, really? Like, I couldn't believe it. I thought like the raid was going to be at least good. And it just really wasn't. It was just so mid. And I was so disappointed. You know, I was just like, you know what? I'm just skipping the rest of the DLC. I'm not even going to play the raid. I did eventually do the raid. They were right. It was mid. It was cool, I guess. Like, there's one cool encounter, which is planets. I think that encounter is cool. The mechanics are cool. But like, the rest of it's just like, just so mid, dude. I don't know. They really fumbled the bag. Anyways, hopefully moving on permanently for this video from that topic of Destiny 2 and Destiny in general, I got here by saying Plants vs. Zombies was an easy game to get into, and it is. But what I will admit is that the boss fight gave me a bit more trouble than I expected. You know, I just spoke about how this is a kid's game earlier, but the boss fight was quite hectic at some point. You'll see it eventually, hopefully in about like 10-ish minutes, depending on how I pace the footage for the game. I'm not really sure how it's going to end up, but you'll see it eventually. Anyways, moving on to another game I play quite often, mainly for the video, is Terraria. And I finally finished Terraria Calamity. It's in the works to make the big finale where I edit like all the hours of gameplay that I've put into it between, I think the last thing I did on camera was, oh man, I really don't remember. I think it might have been Euron or Devourer of Gods. One of those, or maybe Old Duke. I don't remember. It was a while ago though. And at some point I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do the rest of the bosses, the rest of the content, put it all into one nice little package, and then call it a day. So I've been playing the game for the past like month or so, or like month and a half, just trying my best to like finish the game. And I was struggling really bad on the Exomex. I'll put like some random B-roll of me fighting the Exomex and absolutely getting decimated right here because I have all the footage. I'll cut most of this out. Like, it'll just be like death. And then I'll do like some really super dramatic, whoa, I need to beat them now. I don't know. It'll be something like that. You can expect that. But I guess I won't spoil too much if you do plan on watching it, I guess. But yeah, the Exomex were giving me a lot of trouble, and I was just like really pondering whether or not I could actually do it. There was a point in time where I was like, I don't know if I can do this without like somehow cheating this game. I eventually did it. And I figured out a strategy, and it just worked for me. Like, through repetition, I figured a strategy that like sort of worked, and then I just kept doing it, kept refining it, kept getting better at the strategy, and it eventually like fully worked, and I could beat them. So that was nice. And after a while, I did it. You know, it took me like, I would say at least 15 tries of just like brute forcing the bosses, just going at it. And then I finally beat it, and that meant I had one boss left, which was Supreme Witch Calamitous, which I read like everywhere that Supreme Witch was so easy if you had beaten Exomex, because Exomex gives you the opportunity to craft gear that is like way better than everything else. In specific, it gave you access to the Heavenly Gale Bow, which was like a godsend. I first tried Calamitous, I died, and I was like, okay, I'll just like drink some potions, you know, actually give myself some buffs. Did it second try, boom, easy, done, dealt with. And that was the end. I was thinking about like exploring endgame content, maybe showing off some of the endgame weapons that I now acquired through beating the rest of the bosses. And there's also the boss rush, which I don't think I'm going to do. And if I do it, it might be a complete separate video. But Terraria Calamity, at least, or Calamity Plus Stars Above, has been wrapped up. It's done. I finished it. And the only thing I'll do to revisit it is to revisit it in Revengeance mode. And that'll be like a whole movie video. Like that'll be like an hour and a half of me just playing Terraria. Like try to stitch it together, like the big moments. And aside from that, like other things like movie challenges. Kind of like what I do on FIFA, but instead on Terraria. And it would be something like akin to, I don't even know how to describe. I think it'd be akin to Hero, if you have ever watched him. Hero is like an old Terraria YouTuber. I used to watch him a lot, and actually, my first Twitch name ever for my personal Twitch account was modeled after Hero's name, because I watched so much Terraria, and I actually made that Twitch account to watch Terraria, I think. And I like put like my username, and then I put Hero, you know, because I thought like, whoa, dude, I was such a fanboy. I don't know why, because like he was good and he made some good content. Like I really enjoyed it, but I really don't know how I ended up becoming such a fanboy. Like I just watched the videos. I didn't like interact with him or anything, or like there wasn't anything crazy like that. I don't even think he talked in the videos. Like it was text, but like his videos were so good. They were so entertaining, and none of them were like super long. They were like maybe 15 minutes at most, and they were like cool challenges. Like I think the first one I watched was his like method of defeating the dungeon master. That is not what he's called. You know, Skeletron, dungeon guy, dungeon keeper, is that his name? The spinning skeleton from the dungeon before you beat Skeletron, him. So that was like super cool to me. I was like, dude, I didn't even know that was possible. Because one of my earliest memories with Terraria is playing on my like iPad, because I was like an iPad kid, wandering into the dungeon with like full silver gear. I was really feeling myself. I thought like I was invincible, like nothing could touch me at this point. And I wandered into the dungeon because I kind of assumed like, oh, the dungeon's gonna be scary. There's gonna be like some really strong monsters down there, but it'll be okay. I'll deal with them with my silver gear. And I'm like making my way down. I'm anticipating like, hey, I'm gonna deal with this guy. It's gonna be all good. And I wander down far enough for the dungeon keeper to like activate, and boom, like I'm insta dead. And I just kind of like, I remember being like scared. I got jump scared by him, and all I could do was like stare at the screen and go like, what just happened to me? Like, what happened? I had full silver. I was invincible. Like nothing could one-shot me at this point. But that was before I discovered how to do Skeletron. And I don't think I had even figured out how to do Eater of Worlds, because I was on a corruption world. And then I obviously didn't know about hard mode or anything like that. I think most of the things I discovered about Terraria was through YouTube. Like I saw like, oh, the Wall of Flesh. You have to fight this guy to continue on to hard mode. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then like the biome keys. Like I would have never known they existed had I not watched like some YouTube on Terraria. Speaking of the biome keys though, I remember one time sat in the back seat of the car like on a road trip or something. I don't know. I was just in the car for quite a while. I remember just playing Terraria Mobile on the iPad and like grinding, and I mean grinding, for a biome key in the ocean. Like I was just above the ocean with a platform, and I had water candles everywhere, and I was just going back and forth like defeating enemies. I don't remember what key I got, but I remember I got the key. And I don't think there's an ocean key, so I got whatever key would drop from the ocean. Like I got it, and I remember being like so excited and thinking like, holy, I'm gonna have the best weapon in the game. The unfortunate thing about biome key weapons and biome keys in general, biome chests, is they all kind of suck. Like there's no reason to go for biome keys because they're so rare that by the time you find one, you would probably be able to grind for a normal weapon through normal means like boss fights or like ore or whatever. That's gonna be better than the biome key weapon. Like vampire knives, cool gimmick, right? Super cool gimmick. But there's no point to go for vampire knives when you can get like infinitely better weapons in vanilla Terraria. Like vampire knives, are they even range damage? I'm not sure. I think they count as melee. There's definitely some better melee weapons that you can get at that stage of the game before ever grinding for a biome key. The only exception to biome keys, in my opinion, is if you somehow get one during non-hard mode or just normal mode in Terraria in one of the biomes, and you just happen to have it, because it gives you such an advantage early game of hard mode that it's really nice to have. But still, I just don't see the point of biome keys for the most part, because one, they're outclassed by basically every other weapon at that point of the game, and two, they're like super hard to get. Like there's no point unless you just want to complete the game, which I guess is what I was doing as a kid. I just wanted to get like everything I could in that game. Anyways, moving on to something completely unrelated, because I have no idea what to talk about or how to segue away from Terraria and my little escapades as a child playing Terraria Mobile on my iPad. I'm obviously a TikTok viewer, as most people are in today's age. Bit of the brain rot, bit of the whatever the hell the For You page has to offer for me. But I've been seeing a word circulate the TikToks quite a bit recently. And that word is LARP. L-A-R-P. LARP. And it's an old word. It's not like some sort of new word that has just sprouted out of nowhere. I've seen the word LARP for years. Like, I'm gonna sound old and say like, oh, I used to see it in the forums back in the day when they used to LARP in there. Like, LARP has just been around. Like, you didn't even have to go to like forums or anything like that. You would see it on YouTube. You would see it on like Twitter or like Instagram or like Tumblr. You would definitely see LARP on Tumblr or Pinterest. But the point is, LARP stands for Live Action Roleplay, which, if you couldn't tell by quite literally what it stands for, it means you're role-playing, like you're pretending, right? Unfortunately, LARP as of recent has been given a complete new definition by TikTok and the audience of TikTok. LARP now essentially stands in for poser, which I guess makes sense. Like, I guess, yes, LARP and poser can kind of be used interchangeably, but not really. Like, LARP is live action roleplay. You know, there's some LARPers. Like, a LARPer would be someone like McJuggernuggets. He was a LARPer. And you could argue like, well, no, he was just acting, but he was LARPing. He was LARPing as a, like, man-child, I guess you could say, adult who was, like, crying over his video games as his super evil, angry dad, who was also just complete LARP, destroys his games. Like, they were LARPing. You know, they were just pretending. It was live-action roleplay. They were role-playing as a role. And, like, you could really apply that to any actor. They're LARPing. They're live-action role-playing. It's just a little bit different because LARP usually refers to people in, like, smaller fandoms, I guess, you know, like anime or whatever. You know, there's plenty of anime LARPers who will LARP in real life as anime characters. I mean, if you've never seen roleplay, just regular roleplay of anime characters on the internet before, you're either too young or you're just not on that side of the internet. There's been so many throughout history. I mean, it was much bigger in, like, the late 2000s and the early 10s. But the thing is, we still see roleplay. Like, whether it's anime or, like, I don't know, some people want to roleplay their K-pop idols or whatever the hell they're roleplaying. They can roleplay whatever they want. They're roleplaying, and that's a regular roleplay because they're not doing it in real life. They're doing it over the internet, over a forum, over a text message, over a call, over whatever. LARPing is different. LARPing is like cosplaying. Not really, though. You can cosplay without LARPing, and you can LARP without cosplaying, but, like, they can go hand in hand. A good example of LARPing is quite literally Dungeons and Dragons in person. If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends in real life, you know, you're all around and you're starting up a campaign or whatever they're called, that's LARP. You are live action role playing as your character in Dungeons and Dragons, and your friends are live action role playing as their characters, and even the game master is LARPing as the game master. So no, LARP is not poser. Like, poser is a complete different thing, and like, yes, LARP sounds so cool and we should all use LARP because it sounds cool and these people are LARPing. That girl is LARPing. She doesn't play that game for real. She doesn't, I don't know. The point is, like, it's not the same thing. And I honestly do not know why I started talking about this. Like, it just came to my mind that it kind of bothers me. Like, it's not the end of the world. People can use the word how they want to use it, right? It's just a word, and even if it's lost its meaning, it is what it is. It had its time. People don't really use LARP nowadays anyways. Like, people haven't used LARP accurately for a while. People will, like, say, oh, hey, I'm LARPing while playing, like, some game, and they're just role-playing. Like, you're role-playing, you're not LARPing, because if you were LARPing, you'd be doing it in real life. You'd be pretending in real life. You know, like another LARPer, or I guess another example of LARPing would probably be Kigurumi. You don't have to LARP if you do Kigurumi, but I mean, there's a high chance you might LARP as whatever character you're doing Kigurumi of. Furries are also LARPers. Now, this is where the line gets a little blurred between LARP and just like belief, right? Because I'm sure there are people out there who will say, I am not role-playing. This is what I believe I am. Like, this is me, and I don't want you to call it roleplay, which is fair, you know, cool, whatever. But like, there's definitely a good amount of furries who are LARPing. Like, a furry is a LARPer because they're LARPing as an animal. They're clearly not an animal, but they're role-playing as it, and they're having fun, and they're not really hurting anyone. That's LARP. That's cool. Now someone who owns a fur mask and isn't a real furry, doesn't do anything in the furry community, doesn't do any of that, doesn't go to cons or anything, just has it because it looks cool, is not a LARPer. They are a poser. They're a fraud. They're whatever you want to call them. They're not LARPing. Because if you call them a LARPer, and then a furry who knows what LARP means says like, oh, I live action roleplay. I LARP as my fursona or whatever. I mean, it's literally fursona. They're LARP-sona. It's there. They're going to be confused when you come at them and you go like, oh, you're a LARPer, dude? You don't even respect the community. You know, like, go back to your normie stuff. Like, no, dude, he's for real. Like, or she's for real, or they're for real. They're LARPing. They're the furry. They are the furry. Anyways, I think I should move away from this because I might actually be getting worked up over the word LARP and how people misuse it. I'm not a LARPer. I don't think I've ever LARPed in my life. Although I think it's, you know, fun if you want to LARP. You can escape reality or whatever. Like, if you think about it, every single one of us roleplay when we play games, you know? Like, I'm roleplaying as like a manager whenever I play FIFA. You know, like I'm thinking like a manager, like I've got my team, I'm roleplaying because it just makes it more fun. Or like, okay, here's one thing that I don't know if anyone else has ever done this in their life, but in GTA 5 or GTA in general, I will literally roleplay as a law-abiding citizen. I will drive around, follow traffic laws, walk on the sidewalks, and do nothing that GTA expects you to do. I'm just chilling. Like, I just enjoy my time in the universe, and I pretend to be a good guy. I'm role-playing, you know? And again, roleplay, LARP, a little bit different because live action, it's in the name, live action, you know? Roleplay, it's online. Any sort of online roleplay is just roleplay. Like, it's, sure, you could say ORP, and then there's like specifics like ERP. We don't talk about that one, but that exists. But it's not LARP. Like, LARP is different. LARP is like someone pretending in real life to be something they're not, which, when you say it like that, you think, oh, hey, that sounds like poser. Yes, but no, because usually LARP is done with like respect to the community. Like, they like something so much that they pretend to be that thing. Not that they pretend to like something that's kind of niche. That's not LARPing. That's not what it is. Anyways, moving on from this, I've been talking for quite a while. I don't know. My timer says 40 minutes. I think there's a lot of empty space here. I think I'm going to edit out quite a bit. I think I'll end up at like 30-ish. Don't think I'm ending quite yet. I'm going to extend it a bit longer. And I wanted to talk about something real. And by real, I don't mean serious. I mean pertains to real life, I guess. Recently, I think my wisdom teeth are coming out. Like, I think they're actually starting to protrude more than usual. And it's been really bothering me because I feel like I've not been able to speak normally. Like, it feels wrong. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Every now and then I've like caught myself and I'm like, I wouldn't normally do that. But like ever since my wisdom teeth has been like slowly poking out, that's been happening more. And I think that means I'm going to have to get them removed eventually, which is a whole another thing. That's like super annoying. And then you have to like 2-week recover or whatever. And you can't talk for like a week. And you're like all numb and you're like super puffy. And it's like, you know, the best part about it is like, oh, hey, you get a funny video when you're drugged up on whatever they give you so that you don't like scream out in pain while they remove your wisdom tooth or teeth. But yeah, it's been really annoying. Like, in the past, I've had wisdom teeth pain. Like, they're kind of like pushing up against, you know, they push up against your teeth. That's not good, right? But I think eventually I just like forgot about it. And now there's no pain. But now my mouth feels kind of weird because there's an extra tooth that normally wouldn't be there, or like just normally wouldn't be present, you know, like it's just like kind of in the background, like it's barely there and I wouldn't be able to notice it. But like recently it's been really annoying. Like, I'll be eating food and my wisdom tooth, which isn't supposed to normally be there, or like normally is never there, will like bite down on the inside of my cheek. And I'm like, okay, well, I just bit myself because I'm not used to having this one. I'm not one to complain about having an extra tooth, but it's just like made it weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's just weird. Like, it doesn't cause me any real discomfort or any real problems, but it just feels weird, for one. And every now and then I'll bite the inside of my mouth because I'm trying to chew like I have no wisdom teeth, you know? Anyways, that concludes my real topic for the day because I don't really have much more to add. Wisdom teeth feels weird. They're starting to come in, and I don't really know what to do. I know I should get them removed at some point, but I really just don't feel like it. Maybe eventually I will, though. Anyways, it's come far enough that I'm gonna guesstimate that I've reached the boss fight in the video at some point, or like, I'm probably in it right now. The boss fight, like I said earlier, was very hectic, but I managed to get it done, and it really wasn't too bad in the end. I got it first try, which at some point during the gameplay I really did not think I was going to get because of how dangerously close the zombies were getting, but I pulled through, and like it all worked out. I was like, cool, chill, we're good. So I just played through like pretty normally. It was cool until I finished the boss fight, which hopefully I should line up with me saying right here, you know, like I just finished the boss fight, and the boss fight should be finishing, and it should be transitioning into the greatest track of all time, Zombies on Our Lawn, or Zombies on Your Lawn, or whatever the hell. It's a banger, and I think I'm just gonna let it play in full as the outro for this video. I don't know if it's copyright. I think it is, but it doesn't really matter at this point for me. It's good enough. Like I'm leaving it in either way. So thank you for watching me play through this game again, doing all 5 levels. If you only watched me do 2 levels or this level or whatever, thank you either way. Like, doesn't really matter how many you watched. More than enough to watch 1. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.
Sunflower. 1, 2, 3. There's a zombie on your lawn. There's a zombie on your lawn. There's a zombie on your lawn. We don't want zombies on our lawn. I know your type, tall, dark, and dead. You wanna bite all the petals off of my head, and then eat the brains of the one who planted me here. I'm just a sunflower, but you need power and entire infantry. You like the taste of brains, we don't like zombies.
I used to play football.
Football
Well, don't protect my head.
on his head,
I have a screen door shield.
your shield.
We are the undead.
There's a zombie on your lawn. There's a zombie on your lawn. There's a zombie on your lawn. We don't want zombies on our lawn. Maybe it's time to reevaluate. I know you have a lot of food on your plate. Brains are quite rich in cholesterol. You're dead, so it doesn't matter. Instead, we'll use the solar power to make a lawn defense at any hour.
I like a tricycle.
Sickle.
Dirt powder on